Well, hello everyone, the Ontario Gardener here, back with another Halloween update automation tutorial. Now, we're getting to the thick of things. This is automated pumpkin soup. Now, this is the most complex of the three dishes as far as pumpkin pie and pumpkin seeds. When you make pumpkin pie, you throw out the seeds. When you make pumpkin seeds, you throw out the whole pumpkin. Now, when you're doing soup, you obviously throw out the seeds, which you don't need, but there's extra steps involved to get the pumpkin soup working. Now, you see all these things at the top. This is all we need, and it turns into, I think it's a 5x4 or 6x4, something like that. It's a pretty big area, but this is 100% automated soup. Now, if you don't want to have it 100% automated and you want to load in your own pots, by all means, you're welcome to do that. I just have found this is the most efficient, or I guess you'd call it the most efficient way to automate soup, because you know me, I like fully automating things, not half automating them. So we're going to start off with the base things. You have your onion for your soup, even though it's pumpkin soup, which you typically wouldn't put an onion for broth. You make the broth the same way as you make broth for tomato, meat, and carrot soup. Same exact way. Here we're using 3 pots, and then you obviously have your pumpkin bin up here, and you have your onion bin here. Now, let's get started. You're going to need a jiggly bin, and you know why? Because you have actual waste here. You have a lot of waste, and that's the seed waste. So I have this laid out in my head. You have a portioner, and the portioner is actually something that takes the seeds out of a pumpkin. So it's very, very handy, mind you. Very, very handy. We're going to lay this one out like this. Let's see. I want to put this one down here. Now, again, ones that show that they're straight, you could use a regular grabber for, which is I think one in this demonstration where I'm using a swivel grabber. You could use a regular one here. It doesn't really matter. All right, you have your pots being pulled here, and you have a corner grabber here. Oops, if I can grab it for you guys. And again, the way that it works is you have to see the bottom part here, the fat part. That's the part that you have to have against what you want to pull from. And then in your practice mode, or in the game, you can change the direction of these by using your interact button. For me, it's my 8 on my D-pad or my number pad. Default keyboard is O, and then on controllers, it depends on what controller you use. I don't really know there. But anyway, we have a setup here now. This setup here will now seed and dispose of. This is a jiggly bin. Now, you could use a compacting bin, you could use an expanded bin, but the problem is you still have to empty those using a jiggly bin or what's called the compacting bin. The other one I think I said was composting. The compacting bin, it'll empty every, I think it's around 8 to 10 seconds. All right, this port is set up here. The next thing we have to get set up is going to be the mixer. And again, you don't have to use a conveyor mixer. If you don't use a conveyor mixer, you're going to have to set this up slightly different to allow space to feed this like this, because this is exactly where we're at now. Now, as always, when you do your auto soups, you have to have a sink, and our other combiner is actually up here. Let's go grab our combiner. Now, when I show you, you don't need to use a prep station here. You don't actually need to use a portioner. Those things you can omit, but again, that's not fully automated then, in my opinion. Here, the trick again to get your pot, your onion into your water is using a combiner, which actually does the fill action for your pot. But by putting an onion on the combiner, it does both actions at one time. Now, here's where there's a bit of trickery. And you're going to see this and you're going to say, what the heck are you doing? Well, you're going to know in a minute here why I'm doing it this way. Now, with combination of corner grabbers and regular grabbers, you can now make this type of automation right here. You can actually do something like this. This will feed onto this just like if it be a straight grabber. And there you go. This will now complete your cycling to make your broth. You're adding your chopped pumpkin, because you need to have chopped pumpkin going into your pumpkin soup. You can't put the whole pumpkin in. And then here, this is your just... Again, you don't need this step, but to me, it's like if you have enough material, enough items to make all of this, you might as well use a portioner in a frozen prep. Now, if you'd have multiple frozen preps, you could run these, I don't know, a different way here or something like that. And again, depending on your setup. Now, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 1, 2, 3, 4. 6x4 has 24 tiles to make fully automated. Like I said, if you don't want to have it fully automated, you could take all this section out, all this right here could be all out, and you could manually take your pot to your onion to your sink and then onto your hob. And even if you wanted to do it, just have a little bit more less automated, is you could leave this system here. You use one pot with one onion, you stick it on here. Actually, no, you're gonna have to use a combiner still like that. But again, if you're going through that trouble, why not just automate everything? And I love this aspect here because you're not only pulling from here, so this is almost acting like a T grabber, but you're not pushing anything a different way. Now, I think I have this all set up properly. If I don't, we'll adjust this as needed, but based on my memory, I think this is correct. Now, should we rock and roll with this? All right, go into practice mode now because practice mode is new. You hit escape. You go to practice mode. Now again, you can go outside. The practice mode question mark is still there, but it's easier to go to practice mode here. It doesn't spawn you outside, and you can stand anywhere you want, and let's go. Now, there's a bit of trickery here you'll see right here, and I'll try to explain what's happening. So your pots are gonna cycle right away because they're obviously not grabbing water right away. Now, these will cycle a bit, and you'll see how they will cycle, and it's just kind of how the mechanics work. Obviously, that one's not doing anything. And now the one that you see back there, the third pot, will never make its way onto the system, or very rarely, because the way the corner grabber's action is that you cannot have, oh, looks like that one actually did push it, which is very interesting. I didn't think it would do that. Oops. So this is how you move these, by the way, during the practice mode. So these will continue to cycle. Now again, if there's 3, it doesn't matter. You can get away with 2. Sometimes there's a glitch where the third pot won't push onto the corner grabber up there, but it doesn't matter. It's still, I'm just going to take these off here just to show you that this still will function. You'll always have a broth made. You always have this and that, and it'll just cycle through. In the beginning, it'll cycle twice because it has to make the broth, and then it'll cycle again for it to be put in. It's just how the mechanic, how the speed works of this. I'm just trying to take things out just to show you how it works. See, that one filled and went right around. It's just kind of how the mechanic works. I can't take any more out, I don't think, can I? Nope, I'm full now. But again, you see how it'll cycle through, and it won't combine it right away. But again, with this system, it's literally instant. And there you go. Up here, I have this soup in my hand. I don't have any place to put this. Actually, let me just put it out here. So basically, here you can already see the compacting bin called the jiggly bin, is keeping up with the seed demand. Because if you remember, 1 pumpkin is going to give you 3 portions of soup. And here we have, cut here. We have 2 pumpkins here ready to go. These 2 are cut. So we actually have 4 lined up ready to go before we even have any issues with seeds. I mean, if you get backed up, which doesn't make any sense, you could just do this just to show you how it would work. Well, now it's in my hand. But anyway, you get the idea how this works. So yeah, this is quite complex, in my opinion. But again, if you're looking for automatic pumpkin soup, this is how you go. Now, there will be a video coming out after the soup and the pie and the seeds. There will be a video coming out where I combine all of them. And that design is slightly different than this. It's still kind of big, but it does work, put it that way. Because when you make the pumpkin pie, you're basically having this same setup is the same, except from the portioner here, you're having this going into a safety hob, which then goes to a prep station, and then you have the pie with the flour over here, and it's making the pie. So it's quite complex, but again, this is to fully automate. When I like to do my automation systems, I like to show you a fully automated setup. Again, like I said, you don't need to have any of this down here. You can manually take the onion, you can manually stick it on this, and the rest would be automated. But again, that's not fully automated, and you know me, I'm Mr. Automation here. So again, this is a pretty big, this is a 6x4 block, 24 blocks to make fully automated soup. But again, if you have a big restaurant and you can wedge this in the corner, why not? Let's just get our practice mode here. So to go over what you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 corner grabbers, 3 regular grabbers, a danger hob, 2 combiners, 2 portioners, your pot stack, your onion bin, your pumpkin bin, 1 counter, and you can't. The only way you could not have this be a counter is if I'm trying to think how to explain it, because it won't portion from the bin. You have to portion on something. It will portion from a conveyor belt, but the problem is then if it misses, it'll get pushed onto here, and then you're backed up. So the best place is to do it on here, because it'll be instantly doing it like that. Then you need 1 jiggly bin or some other bin. If you have a different bin, the bin would sit out here, and you'd have this sitting in here, just turned a different way, and then you'd have to obviously empty the bin yourself, which again, that's not fully automatic, and this is about fully automatic. You have a conveyor mixer, which again, if this is a regular mixer, basically some of this stuff would just get pushed back one. This stuff would remain the same. You just have to redo. You'd have a conveyor coming or a grabber coming from here, and then all this stuff would just be pushed to the left one, and then this whole setup would always be pushed to the left one, or use a couple extra grabbers to kind of fill in the spaces. But again, conveyor mixers are not that hard to get. Once you get to this level of automation, you're going to be able to afford a conveyor mixer. With the new mechanics, the conveyor mixer cycles with the rapid and the heated mixer anyway. Now you could use a heated mixer for this because it wouldn't matter because nothing is being cooked. The chopped pumpkin does not cook on its own. It has to be either combined in a soup or has to be combined in a crust to make another dish. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. It's a bit complex. You need a lot of material. Now again, that danger hob could be a regular hob, it could be a starter hob, it could be a safety hob. The hob you use for that is irrelevant. It's just the safety or the danger hob, is the quickest to make the broth, and then when it cycles back through is the quickest to make the pumpkin again. But anyway, this is fully automated soup. Do you believe it? I do, because I fully automate everything. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new to the channel, please consider leaving me a subscribe. It would be really helpful, getting so close to reaching my next goal. If you like watching me live, you can find me on Twitch at 9 o'clock Eastern on Monday and Wednesday evenings, 9 o'clock Eastern, doing PlateUp content. On my YouTube channel, I have PlateUp content out every single day, so feel free to leave me a subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a like and a comment. I always respond to all my commenters with either a thumbs up, a heart, or a personalized comment right back. I always try to respond to everybody. I do enjoy interacting with my fans as well as all my supporters. So thank you so much. If there's any other automation that you haven't seen on my channel yet, or if there's new automation you want me to do more compact, this is all about compact designs. This is as compact that I can make fully automated soup that I can come up with. Maybe there is a better design out there. I don't think so, but this is the most compact that I've come up with. And a lot of my other older videos that I have, like pizza automation and pie automation, I'm going to try to make more compact videos of that. Maybe some teleporter videos, even though teleporters are very, very late game as far as how much they cost. But in the meantime, this is all stuff that you can get relatively easy. You should be able to have all this by, franchise, maybe OT Day 5, something like that. But again, if you're like me who loves soup, automating soup, this is the way to go. So thank you guys so much for joining me once again, and I'll catch you in the next Halloween update automation tutorial. Take care now.